Hello everyone, today we're going to do another science experiment. Remember when we were learning about baby Moshe in the river? And we talked about what types of things can float and what types of objects sink. Objects that float go to the top of the water and objects that sink go to the bottom. So to do the science experiment, I need 2 eggs, which I have in here. I'm going to be very careful so that I don't break them. I need some blue food coloring, and I need salt and 2 cups of water. This is going to be in the most important part of my experiment. Now, in Israel, there is a body of water. There is a sea, and it's called the Dead Sea. It's called the Dead Sea because it is so salty, no fish can live in it. And the salt does something else. The salt also makes it so that everything that goes inside can float. Like when you go swimming in the Dead Sea, you don't even really need to swim because you're going to float. I also got the spoon, which is going to be important to help me mix my salt. So first I'm going to put a few drops of food coloring in both waters. I don't want it too dark because I want to be able to see. So maybe just 1 drop for now. And I'm going to mix them up so that I have my blue Dead Sea. So there's my water. That's perfect blue. It doesn't need to be too blue. Now I'm going to take the salt and in one of my cups, not both of my cups, only in one of my cups, I'm going to put a lot of salt. I need to open it the big way. So there are 2 sides to open this salt. There's one with holes and one without holes. I'm going to open it without holes so that I can put a lot of salt. And I'm only going to put it in one of my cups, not both. I'm going to put a lot of salt. And then I am going to stir it until I can't see the salt anymore. It's called dissolve. You want the salt to dissolve. So that way it's like the salt is part of the water. So I'm going to stir it and mix it and stir it and mix it so that the salt can dissolve. All right, let's see. Do I still have salt on the bottom? I don't think so. I think the salt is all dissolved. You could already see that my salty water looks very different from my not salty water. My regular water is clear and my salty water almost looks cloudy. So let's see what happens. Now I have my salty water here and my regular water here, and I have my 2 eggs. I'm going to take 1 egg and very carefully put it in my regular water. You can see the egg goes all the way to the bottom of the cup. Now I have my salty water. Make sure that the salt is nice and dissolved so there's no more salt. I'm going to put it in. Let's see what happens. It floats. You can see it's on the top of the water. If I put even more salt, it might float even more. See, this egg is all the way at the bottom of the cup. Well, this egg is floating kind of in the middle, and you can see that it's coming out on the top. If I put even more salt, it might even float even more. The Dead Sea is super salty. So I'm going to carefully take my egg out, put it back in my paper cup. I'm going to add even more salt. I'm going to use a lot of my salt. I have to go to the grocery store and buy more salt. I'm going to mix up my salty Dead Sea water. Make sure that it's nice and mixed. Add even more salt. Remember, the Dead Sea is so salty. Now I'm going to take my egg again. And I'm going to put it in. Let's see. Does it float more? It's floating even more. You can see it's at the top of the water. So in this one, the egg sinks with no salt. It's all the way at the bottom of the glass. In this one, it floats. It's at the top. Here, I'm going to move the camera so you can see it even better. Now you can see very clearly that in this cup, the egg is all the way at the bottom. On this cup, the egg is going boing, boing, boing. to the top. What else can you make float? I wonder if this would work with other things that sink. Can you make a rock float? Can you make a magnetite float? I don't know. The salt makes things float, just like the egg. That's how different things float in the Dead Sea in Israel.